so confused about what to eat. Really, I fully understand that. So let's lay it out. Some people do really well on a ketogenic diet for a while. You can't live on a ketogenic diet, but for a period of time, 6 months or a year, it can really turn their lives around. Ketogenic diets mean really high fats, good fats, but really high fats, and not many carbohydrates at all. Some people, because of how they live their life to this point and how unstable their blood sugar is, they can't eat very many carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are sugar. And when they go to a ketogenic diet, they help to stabilize their blood sugar regulating system. Their brain works better, they've got more clarity, their energy's up, they lose weight. So for some people, ketogenic diet really works well for a period of time. For some people, a paleo diet, like our ancestors ate, works well. And some people live on that for a long period of time. My personal experience as a clinician is that if you're a blood type O, there was this whole thing, eat right for your blood type. It's a whole dynamic of how you're supposed to eat. My experience is it's a good recommendation for blood type O's because blood type O is the oldest blood type on the planet. Our ancient ancestors were blood type O. What does that mean? They followed the herds. They were nomads. They did not do agriculture. So they were always moving and following the herds and putting up their teepees or their tents and following the herds to have food. They ate a lot of meat. So blood type O's do really well having higher percentages of quality protein and not too much carbohydrates at all. Carbohydrates are grains. Vegetables are carbohydrates, but not as high an amount as in grains. And that's breads and lentils and peas and buckwheat and barley and rye. The beans and rices and corn and wheat, barley, rye, oats, those are the dominant carbohydrates that can throw your blood sugar regulating system a little bit haywire. So if we go back and look at this, think about how many soda pops you drank as a kid. Think about how many you had a week and how many weeks in a year, or how many candy bars you ate as a kid. I grew up on Three Musketeers and Mountain Dew. And literally, I was drinking Mountain Dew, not quite every day, but quite often. And it does a number on your body and it wears out many systems of your body, but your blood sugar regulating system gets really, really overworked when you're young and eating the garbage food that we call the standard American diet. The result of that is that for many of us, blood sugar stability is a problem. And so many of us, either for the rest of our lives or for a period of time, have to keep in mind that we need to keep our blood sugar stable. Really important to do that. Critically important for all of the different functions in your body. And when you eat sugar, your body has to make insulin to escort the sugar into your cells. Sugar is a primary source of fuel in our cells. And I don't mean the white table sugar. I mean the sugar that's in carbohydrates, the sugar in fruits. The white table sugar is the worst, but there are many different types of sugars that we get in our food. Understand, carbohydrates are sugars. So that means grains are sugars. Beans, rice and beans are sugars. And of course, candy and all of that. But we've thrown our bodies so far out of balance as children and as teenagers, most of us have, that our blood sugar regulating system gets way out of whack. Now, as we become adults and grow into our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, we start packing on weight. Why do we pack on weight? There's a few reasons why we pack on weight, but the one that's been most dominant through the 90s, in the early 2000s, The primary mechanism for so many people, their blood sugar regulation has crashed. They can't handle carbohydrates very much anymore. And they were told that whole wheat bread is good for you. Well, you know, a slice of whole wheat bread, your body makes insulin by the amount of sugar it thinks is in a food. And that relationship between how much insulin you make and how much sugar is in food, that's called your glycemic index. The glycemic index of that food determines how much insulin you make. So if you have a high glycemic index food, like brown rice, pretty high glycemic index food, your body makes more insulin to get the sugars from that brown rice into your cells. You have to make more insulin. Well, the glycemic index of a slice of whole wheat bread is 71. 71. The glycemic index of a Snickers bar, a candy bar, is 48. Your body thinks there's more sugar in a slice of whole wheat bread than in a Snickers candy bar. So somebody's going to say, well, I'll make my peanut butter sandwich in between two Snicker bars. You know, don't be silly, right? But my point is, a slice of whole wheat bread is a very high glycemic index food. And your body thinks you need to make a lot of insulin because you're eating whole wheat bread. White bread, the glycemic index is 69. Not really much better. You want to be in the mid to low 40s. In the vast majority of food that you're eating, the glycemic index of those foods. The goal to help rebuild and stabilize your system is to be in the low to mid 40s or lower than that, if you can. And the more you do that, the less stress you place on your blood sugar regulating system. And people just shed pounds when they do that. They lose a lot of weight. And after a period of time, then you can start experimenting, either eating some higher glycemic index foods to see how your body responds. Now, you should be able to eat those foods fine, but you blew your blood sugar regulating system so far out of balance when you were a kid and a teenager that you have to rebuild that system. And you can't rebuild that system if you keep throwing gasoline on the fire, if you keep eating high glycemic index foods. You can't rebuild that system. So there's a whole world of that to learn about. So this is all about what foods to eat. This is question number one, what foods to eat. So what everyone benefits from, because I start, well, you know, there's keto and there's paleo and there's vegan and there's vegetarian. Everyone benefits from making the vast majority of their diet, their food selections, the rainbow diet. The rainbow diet is the colors of the rainbow and many more. And the goal is the more colors you have in your food every day, and not from artificial food dye, but from red beets and red tomatoes and purple cabbage and green broccoli and yellow squash, butternut squash or spaghetti squash. Make a pasta dinner with spaghetti squash with your favorite spaghetti sauce. And it's really good. It's really good. And your kids will ask for more. And they're really easy to do, you know. But the rainbow diet, the colors of the rainbow, because those polyphenols, that's the geek term for what the colors are. The colors are stress hormones made by the plant to keep bugs away and to keep the plant strong and healthy. So you're getting the stress hormones from tomatoes, unless they're hothouse tomatoes that don't have very many nutrients in them at all. That's why you want organic, because the organic food has the guts in it that gives you the nutrients that you need to fight disease, to help build your immune system stronger. But the rainbow diet, and the goal is 50 different foods from the rainbow diet concept per week. 50. And if you look at what you eat now, you're probably somewhere between 6, maybe 4 to 8 colors a day of fruits and vegetables, maybe. Some people may be a 2 or 3 because they eat pasta and macaroni and cheese, that's it. You know, who knows? Who knows? But it's not hard over the course of a month or 2 months to double and triple the amount of colors of the rainbow that you're eating with different fruits and vegetables. Our friend Dr. Deanna Minnick published a paper on this, and Mary Agnes will put the link in here for you to that paper about the rainbow diet. And she's got 4 pages in there of different fruits and vegetables, what polyphenols are in them, what colors they are, and what systems of the body they help, like cardiovascular or blood pressure or brain function. So I recommend you print out those pages and put them on your refrigerator with a magnet. And you know, you walk by and say, oh, spaghetti squash. Now I really don't know what that is. So I need to look into that one. And you Google spaghetti squash and you see a YouTube video, how it's a no-brainer to make spaghetti squash. You slice it in half, scoop out the seeds, put a little olive oil on it, face down, and I put a little Italian seasoning in there, and then face down on a baking tray, 350 for an hour, it's done. I mean, it's a no-brainer, you know. But then you've got spaghetti squash, and you take it out, you have to cool a little bit, it'll burn your hand, and then you put the squash in your hand, or you put a towel here, and then you're scooping it out, and it comes out like strings of spaghetti, depending on how you scoop. I'm not a good scooper, so mine breaks in half and stuff, you know, but it tastes delicious, just delicious. And you just experiment every week with one more thing. So in terms of what to eat, always the rainbow diet as your base. I don't care if you're vegan, paleo, I don't care what you are. And from there, quality proteins. The most dangerous thing, in my opinion, for vegetarians and vegans is that they're protein depleted. And the way you know is you do a simple urine test. It's on our website. It's a urine test to look at your amino acids. What do you have for amino acids? Do you have enough? And we constantly, not every time, but constantly see vegetarians and vegans, 90% or more of their amino acids are way over the deficiency range. They don't have enough protein to make new healthy cells because it's really hard to get quality protein. You can do it, but it takes a lot of work and you have to study to learn how to do it. If you're not eating fish or chicken or eggs or beef, quality beef, grass-fed beef. And we hear a lot about red meats cause cancer, and I think there's a lot of truth to that, but the meats that they're doing the studies on are what you buy at the local supermarket that's really crap meat, excuse me, but these cows are fed corn. No cows eat corn in the wild. They eat grass. That's what gives them, one of the things it gives them is called conjugated linoleic acid, CLA. And CLA, conjugated linoleic, here's a pearl, you wanna lose some weight? Take 1 capsule of conjugated linoleic acid a day, and you lose about 1 pound a month without counting calories, doing anything else, because it's good fat, and it helps your body to burn off the bad fats. And beef, grass-fed beef, is full of conjugated linoleic acid. Store-bought beef from pen-raised, corn-fed beef has very, very little, almost no conjugated linoleic acid. It's a different food. Don't eat those mass-produced garbage foods. Stay away from lunch meats and all of that. So that's an overview about what foods to eat. Always, always, the rainbow is the basis of whatever diet you choose to do.